Hey folks, how you all doing? So today's video is a contest entry. This is a contest entry for Alex at Beer and Vinyl. If you've never checked out his channel, I urge you to go over there. There will be a link below to the original video for the contest. You can go through his channel from that. He's a very laid back, down to earth, relaxed sort of guy. There's a bit of humour there in his videos, and yeah, just a general all-round guy. I've only got to his channel recently thanks to Sam St John doing a contest entry for this contest, and yeah, I'm really happy with the videos I've seen of his. I think he's a great guy. He has mentioned that he has been following my channel for a while as well, so yeah, just really good. Anyway, the contest is to get Alex to 500 subscriptions. Now, he's done it really quick. His channel's only been up a few months, so he's done really well. So anyway, as of the time of recording this, he's already at 532 subs, so he's surpassed the what he wanted to do anyway with this contest. It's a simple contest. Basically, he wants you to show 5 records, 5 compact discs, 5 vinyl albums, 5 singles, 5 8-track tapes, whatever you want, that remind you of people that you love and care about. Now, I'm sure we could all have 50 albums to do that sort of thing. It's a fairly easy contest, I think. And there will be a link below for Alex's original video. Can't remember if I said that at the beginning of this video or not. Anyway, I'll show these 5 albums and why they remind me of the people I love and care about. The first one could have been any artist from the 1950s. Fats Domino in this case. This reminds me of my dad. Both my parents are still living, but this reminds me, and I think of my dad every time. He used to walk around singing Blueberry Hill. He used to walk around singing Ain't That a Shame when I was younger. Just all the time, you know, and it sort of also honed my musical taste to a degree, because I have a lot of stuff from artists like the Everly Brothers, Little Richard, Chuck Berry, obviously Fats Domino, Elvis Presley, did I mention Buddy Holly, Jerry Lee Lewis, all the old guys from rock and roll, Roy Orbison, Carl Perkins, etc. And that all comes back to my dad. So it's not only this one, but when I do listen to old rock and roll stuff, I always think of my dad. But it's just that, yeah, Blueberry Hill. He used to do it sort of like Richie Cunningham did on Happy Days. He'd always be walking around singing Blueberry Hill when he got a new girlfriend. My dad didn't have girlfriends, happily married, but yeah, it's just a case of whenever I hear that song, I always think of my dad. Even when I'm watching Happy Days and reruns, I think of my dad. So there you go. That's the first one. Second one I'm going to show is another oldish singer. This album, Elvis Is Back. If you look carefully, it's got my mum's name there, Janet. So this is an album that I think of my mum. She's actually got dementia at the moment. She's had it for about 3 years, I think, maybe a little bit longer. But yeah, every time I listen to the songs off this album, and especially this album, I do think of my mum. So yeah, and as I guess they're getting, they get these diseases, and there's really not much of a quality of life left for them. It does bring back these memories when you hear these songs. And in general, it's Elvis Presley in general. With my mum, she was a huge fan of Elvis, still is, and obviously I am as well. I've got my Graceland cap on from when I visited Graceland. So yeah, not only do I think about my mum, I think about visiting Graceland. And again, another music love of my life that was brought to me by my parents when I was a child. Third one I'm going to show, this one reminds me of my dad again. This is Slade Alive. Could have picked up any one of 5 or 6 Slade albums from the 1970s, to be honest with you. Goodbye to Jane is one of my dad's top 5, top 10 songs of all time. He also says Noddy Holder is the greatest frontman of all time. I'm not going to argue with him with that. He's probably number 2 on my list after Steve Marriott from the Small Faces / Humble Pie. But yeah, every time I hear Slade, and in particular Goodbye to Jane, I do think of my old man going around singing it when I was a kid, basically. And it also brings back memories of when I was a child back in the UK in that period. But yeah, just Slade. Again, another one of my musical loves that was passed down to me from my parents. The fourth one I'm going to show is Bob Dylan. This album was actually my mum's album. You can see it's all tattered and torn. The original price tag of $16.99 on it. 3 album set, so six sides, pretty much the best of the best of the best of Dylan as per that period up till late 1970s. Every time I hear early pre-1980s Bob Dylan, I always think of my mum. She was the one that really got me into Bob Dylan and a love of intelligent lyrics. So yeah, I'm like, what, 10 years old at the time, 11 years old when this came out. I was playing this album at home the whole time, and yeah, as I listen to this now, I still think of my mum. Doesn't matter what song it is off here, just listening to this album more so than any other album. And actually, my mum's starting to lose her memory more often than not at the moment with her dementia. But whenever I mention Bob Dylan, her eyes light up, she has a smile, and she wants to talk about Bob Dylan's. And when I go over their house, she often brings out a book. It's the same book every time, but you've got to make, and it's a Bob Dylan book with all his lyrics in, and I've got to make out like it's the first time I've ever seen this book because it makes her happy. But yeah, it's one of the few things she does really still remember, even after all these decades, and with dementia and the state of her mind. So yeah, Bob Dylan's up there. It warms the cockles, so to speak, and it's for my mum, basically. The fifth one I'm going to show, both Lynn and I have the vinyl of this album, but bugger me, we can't find the vinyl at the moment. And I did have this album in my car over the last few days, last 2 or 3 days anyway, and it is Discovery by ELO. I know a lot of people prefer, Out of the Blue and their earlier 70s material over this, but the funny story attached with this one is that when Lynn and I first got together and we realised we both had a absolute love of music, we're going through artists that we like, and we both like, artists that aren't necessarily played on the radio a lot, artists that aren't generally in the foreground. We're mentioning Leo Sayer. We both love Leo Sayer. We both love people like Neil Sedaka and Nick Cave, and other artists that a lot of other people generally don't talk about. And when ELO come up, and a couple of other artists, they said, right, at the count of 3, we want you to each name our favourite ELO song, because everything was just so 100% the same, loves of songs and that. And we both sat there, and I go, right, at the count of 3, blah blah blah, 1 2 3, and at the exact same time we both said The Diary of Horace Wimp was our favourite Electric Light Orchestra song, and that's on this album. I think it was the 4th single released off this album. It was a double A side for The Last Train to London. But yeah, it's just one of those things every time I hear this album in particular, because that song is on it. But for both of us to mention the exact same song as our favourite ELO song is just pretty funny. Anyway, yeah, as I said, when I play this, I always think of Lynn. So yeah, that's my 5 entries into Alex's competition. As I said at the beginning of the video, if you haven't gone over to Alex's channel, go over there. He's a fantastic guy. He's got some great videos. As I said, very laid back, very relaxed. He's got a very soothing voice as well, dulcet tones. Just a great guy. I'll leave the link to his channel below in the section below. So yep, hit that, head over there, subscribe to his channel, and enter this contest if you can. Anyway, Alex, hope this entry is okay, and yeah, good luck with getting to 600 subs, because you're well on the way, mate. Anyway, stay safe, take care, all for now, catch you around, and bye folks.